Hello. Wait, no, I gotta I gotta commit to it properly. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Merriest Kiwi. Today, anyway, today we're editing YouTube videos. Oh, I've been banned off TikTok streaming again. I don't know why. It was Isekai to 1917 Japan. It has a 5-point Japan. My voice is a little rough, if you couldn't tell, based on this take that I did mere moments before I started streaming. It has a 5.49 on Mal, ranking it on the... like this. It has a 5.49 on Mal, ranking it on the same level as Isekai Cheat Magician. There you go, like so. Drop shadow, slight motion. I'm going to scale you up to about this size. We're going to copy that over here. This is the hot stuff that TikTok, man. The rules don't make any sense, and they don't tell you anything. It's just like, you got banned. I'm like, why? For what reason? It's so frustrating. I bet that video gets shown to no one. Hold on, I should put it on my story. There you go. I truly don't understand the TikTok platform. Hopefully the heater isn't too loud. I got the heater playing. That's not the right word. It's on. If I turn it down. No, it's just loud. Well, I hope it's not too horrible and loud. I'm going to throw on some music now. I got distracted watching YouTube Shorts. That's why I stream. Can't trust myself. To not get distracted. Where would I find good music? Jazzy, but not too jazzy. Peace. Doom, 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 doom. Autumn Dreams, 1980s Japanese city pop mix. Sure. Oh, but the original video was blocked apparently, so maybe I shouldn't listen to whatever this is, and I should find something that isn't going to get me blocked. Let's just do some Persona to start with, and then I'll decide on something later. Do 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 do. Bum bum ba-dum bum. It has a 5.49 on Mal, ranking it on the same level as And then I want to slide over to Isekai Cheat Magician with a push, not a slide, because a slide is this, which looks like shit, whereas a push pushes off screen. And that looks good, in my opinion. Give me that. Throw this over here. Like so. Level as Isekai on Mal, ranking it on the same level as Isekai Cheat Magician. At this time, Japan was characterized by a settling of democracy in the wake of the Meiji Restoration. What? No, don't close that. But do look up Meiji Restoration. Meiji Restoration. I've lost my mouse. Come back. What time period was the Meiji Restoration? Start day, end day. In the wake of the Meiji Restoration, so 1920. I want like an anime set in the 1920s. Just as some background. Gosek? is an interesting option. Let me have a look at that. Doom ba ba dun 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 da 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 na na da dun dun. Oh shit, yeah, let me throw my phone on charge real quick. Hold on, hold on. Okay, I'm back. I was off filling my drink up and plugging my phone in, as is my prerogative. Right. I'm looking for... maybe the first episode of Gosek could be good. I want some establishing shots, Japan, 1920s. Gosek is not set in Japan? Maybe I can get some Japanese footage actually right at the beginning. Hold on, this is... no, he's not in Japan at that bit. Damn, not a good example. Hikari Sangatoru? Maybe not. Mars Red? Seems interesting. I've never watched Mars Red. No heater noises? Fuck yeah! That's what I wanted to see. And here. I got my heater on. It's cold in here. I've never watched Mars Red. What is Mars Red? I would show you what I'm searching, but I'm going to search some complete bullshit and forget that it's on screen, so I won't be doing that. But you can just, like, imagine and believe. Right, what anime is Mars Red? Ooh, establishing shots, looking fancy. When did this anime come out? Mars Red. Genuinely, I've never heard of it. Mars Red. It's set in 1923. There's vampires. Came out in 2021. I'm so warm and toasty at work. I am jealous. I am just moderately warm and toasty. But I am at home. So, advantage. Let me set the quality to high. Click, click, HD, click, click. Save video as Mars Red, Episode 1, English dub. It's quite pretty looking. Hold on, I'll get it into Premiere in just a sec. After this one, for the new year, I think I want a new Vaporwave background. I think I want to work on that. Or commission an artist. It's always an option. Yeah. Well, it's 720p, so let me use my patented 720p scale up. Anyway, look at this shit. Ooh, look at this background. It's obviously 3D, but I think it's fun. Taisho 12. Yes, this seems right. What's this gap here? Oh, yes. Okay, cool. Uroshima Taro, that should be easy enough to do that section.
At this time, Japan was... At this time...
Is that overlapping? It is. I didn't feel right.
At this time, Japan was characterized by a settling of democracy in the wake of the Meiji
Oh, I
Restoration.
don't like the way that looks. I want just that shot there.
Japan was characterized by a settling of democracy in the...
Okay, so I need some more from this anime. Where have I put it? Mars Red, here we go. There's got to be more establishing shots. Yeah, look at this. It's very interesting. Yeah, it looks really cool. Maybe this one first?
At this time, Japan was characterized by a settling...
Maybe here?
At this time, Japan was characterized by a settling of democracy in the wake of the Meiji Restoration, as well as the new influence of Western culture and arts. There was characterized by a settling of democracy in the wake of the
And I would like Meiji Restoration on screen, I think. It's good to give this information over when applicable. I really want to see if there's any good comments on the TikTok I just posted about being banned on TikTok. I don't understand this. Such a weird platform, man. Like, you know, you get demonetized on TikTok. No, YouTube. But you get banned on TikTok. It's just baffling. Anyway. Meiji Restoration. That would be... (1868) to 1889. Did I find anything on the Namakurogatana magazine? No, I couldn't find a source on it. So in the end, because nothing worked. So in the end, I just put what I do. Yeah, I kind of play it like this.
At the time referred to one scene as being too drawn out. Presumably a TikTok user who was isekai to 1917 Japan.
That's how I went with it. Like, we do have a source. And we say...
Of the time referred to... A magazine of the time referred to one scene...
Like, I know it's this scene, where he's handing the coin. That's the bit that they think is a bit drawn out and boring. And I think it's probably enough. And we have a source... I posted a link in the sources page. So if someone else wants to find it. But I think it's fine, yeah. Because, like, anytime I searched anything in English, this was the only website that came. I've never seen it where only one website shows up like that. So I'm thinking that, like, I would have to start searching Japanese, and I was searching Japanese, but I didn't know where to look, so this is probably fine. Thank you for these, by the way.
Isekai cheat magician. At this time, Japan was characterized by a settling of democracy in the wake of the Meiji...
Anyway, back to Meiji Restoration. 1889. 1889. It was probably in Japanese? Yeah, it probably was. But yeah. I mean, if you want to have a look at some point in the future before the video is finished and find it, then we can add information here, but I think this is interesting enough. Like, I know it's this scene, and I think that gives it validity instead of it just being hearsay, basically.
Meiji Restoration, as well as the new influence of Western culture and art.
We got anything in... Oh, actually, I need to... Oh, by the way, if you're still looking, this is the bit I added for Tsujigiri.
Based on the fun historical concept of Tsujigiri.
I think it's cool, because the shot itself is cool, and it's not too graphic, and then it feels dramatic, so I quite like it.
Restoration.
Yes, Mars Red. Any Western culture? Can cable cars count as Western culture? So she's the vampire. It seems cool, this anime. Him smoking might not be a bad shot. I mean, all of these shots are pretty. Nah, uniform is quite Japanesey. Vampires and stuff. Also, main character who smokes, always a cool bonus. TikTok moment. Goodbye, Miradai. And hello, Quartz. Replace. Wah. Yeah. Quartz, you were there at the stream yesterday. What did I do to get banned on TikTok? Like, legit, I don't know what I did.
Restoration, as well
But I'm not banned off TikTok overall, just I can't stream on there anymore.
as the new influence of Western culture and arts. There was also a post-World War I boom in the economy, as well as the new influence of Western culture and arts. There was also a post-World War I boom in the economy, but that had
Switcheroo.
already collapsed midway through this period.
Okay, post-World War I boom in the economy, so I want a different anime set in this period. The Wind Rises? No. Chrono Crusade? Taisho Baseball Girls? Well, I mean, immediately I need to see what Taisho Baseball Girls is. I think I can tell. It might be Baseball Girls from the Taisho period. Tamayomi Baseball Girls? That doesn't seem right. Can't show any of these extra shows. Girls Bravo? Yeah, maybe not. Interview with Monster Girls isn't actually that graphic. Okay, I can't find... Let me search the Japanese name for Taisho Baseball Girls. I'm guessing it didn't get an English an English dub. Taisho Yakuyu Musume. Okay, makes sense. Oh, that's a baseball. It does seem to be. Right, give me episode 1 of Taisho Yakuyu Musume. We're getting into realms that I've never seen. Like, I've not seen Mars Red. Maybe I'm not into 1920s anime, apparently. Okay, well this looks actually quite funny. Hold on, I'm gonna... Wait, don't play it. Oh god, stop. I can't get it to stop. My screen is frozen. We're listening to this now. Okay. Okay, that's enough of that. We'll watch it again, but on here. Give it to me with the... Yeah. Sick. Okay, well, I want to watch the opening. This is very important research. Get over here. Let me pause. Persona 5, give me a hot second. Oh wait, I had it open over here. Okay, you stay there. You go here. 720p scale up. You think this will get me done? When do you think this came out? Taisho Baseball Girls. Immediately blocked. The stream turns off. Turn down a bit. I've never heard of this anime. I love finding anime I've never heard of. It does feel maybe early 2010s would be my guess. Women going out to meals with each other? Fantastical. What a crazy time we live in. Now's the future. Period accurate movies, though. Moe MC surrounded by Satoshi Kon characters. Is this a Yuri? We've only seen these two. Oh wait, no, hold on. There's the rest of the squad. Wait, is she the... What's the name of the position where you have the... where you catch the ball? I know she's would be part of a battery. Okay, adorable. Let me delete the audio. So wait, what's the actual... I've got massively distracted. What's the actual line?
Culture and arts. There was also a post-World War I boom in the economy, but that had already collapsed.
Post-World War I boom in the economy. So they want to see him doing cool stuff. This is actually perfect. I want the text on screen as well, because she's going around showing stuff. And then I can have the actual animation, like, crash off screen. Hold on, this is good, this is good.
There was also a post-World War I boom in the economy, but that had already...
Okay, I don't have that much time.
There was also a post-World War I boom in the economy. World War I.
There, and then I want like a lot of them. She's very sweet looking, and I...
World War I boom in the economy.
Again, was there another one? Yeah.
In the economy, but that had already collapsed. That had already...
And then...
collapsed midway through this.
I'll put the space filler here.
This period. Partially due to the change in power from Emperor...
Okay.
Already collapsed midway.
Position, scale, rotation. And then you want like a...
Already
on collapse. Okay, so hold on. Mark those. And then give me like a little bit forwards. And then we're going to have it go up. And then real quick down. That's animation, baby. Okay, it's way too quick. That's not animation, baby. Like that.
Already collapsed mid. Already collapsed.
Yeah, okay. And then I'll have it rotate slightly. Like, give me just a little whoosh as it goes down.
Already collapsed.
Yeah, so it goes zoop. Like it
collapsed.
Like it pops off. It feels
already
like
collapsed midway through this period.
I want like a popping sound. Like that's the sound I was looking for. But this needs to go down a little bit more to account for me rotating it. Yeah, there you go.
Already collapsed.
Sick. And then we want... What do we want? We want sound effects. Sound effects. Like a crash. Go car crash sound effect.
Midway through this period. Partial.
Crash. when it hits the bottom, like, let's go here, here, turn it down.
Already collapsed midway.
Yeah.
Already collapsed midway through this.
I feel like I want like some kind of effect. What if I do like the bing bong? No. What sound effect do I want here? Just like, what's this? Decision.
It already
Ah. Don't hate it, actually. Thinking like that might have given me a headache a little bit. Just the
already collapsed. It already collapsed mid. It already collapsed mid.
Yeah, why not? That seems fun.
Through this period, partially due to the change in power from.
Okay, so what actually happens in this anime? I mean, let's have a little peruse. So she shows off the time period. Oh my god! Fucking biblically accurate anime dad! That's what they look like! Okay, when did this anime come out? This is more important than anything else. Taisho Baseball Girls. It came out in 2009, so I was a little bit late on it. It was by JC Staff. Source is a light novel, of course it was. Producers, okay. Well, it was an anime original, so gimme... Well, what was it published? Okay, there's a manga adaptation. Did the manga adaptation come out after? No, before. And it ran until 2011. And it was a seinen, of course it was. Oh, but the manga looks kind of fun. Oh my god, hold. Save. This isn't what this video is about, but look at the cover of the manga. The style's way different and kind of cool looking. When did this came out? Oh yeah, in 2008. This is an odd style for 2008. Interesting. Gotta check this one out as well. It sounds really fun. I know, right? So she's like traditional, from like a traditional family, I'm guessing. Because she's still wearing her kimono in school, and then there's the school uniform for the other girls. Like a couple of them, no, there you go. A couple of them do, a couple of them don't. I wonder if that was getting more common at the time. Any more establishing shots? Yeah, this could be useful. Maybe just all of that. Okay, well, let me add the thing to show what anime it is. How do I spell any of the title? Taisho Takiyu Musume.
A post-World War I boom in the economy, but that had already collapsed midway through this period, partially due to the change in power from Emperor
This is quite good.
Partially due to the change in power from
I want like he goes up, he hits his knee. At power, I think would be fun, like here.
Partially due to the change in power.
And then on that moment,
change in power from.
And then Emperor
Taisho to Emperor.
Now I need a picture of Emperor Taisho. Emperor Taisho. From Taisho period to Emperor Showa. The Showa period. He's depicted a lot in his like a modern military, and I wonder if it's because of who's a wartime emperor. Showa. Hirohito. I need to look up timelines. Showa period was 1926 to 1989. The Taisho was 1912 to 1926. So he wasn't actually around for that long in power. And then Showa was around for fucking ages. Key events: World War II, occupation of Japan, post-occupation of Japan. That's a very Western Wikipedia description. The Showa Emperor was around for the two things America did. Anyway. Is his name Hirohito? I just want to make sure I've got the right guy. This is Emperor Showa. Okay. So, now I get to show you. Taisho is this man right here, and then Showa is this man right here.
The change in power from Emperor Taisho.
Maybe I don't want it like that. Maybe I want it literally to there, so I'll do the drinking. I still want the slap to go into it because I think that's fun. Feels like a nice motion, so it goes.
Partially due to the change in power from Emperor Taisho.
I want the, like, literally the frame it hits cut.
Period. Partially due to the change in power from Emperor Taisho to
And then I have the transition, and then to Emperor Showa.
To Emperor Showa, expansion.
Do, 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 do. Ba, 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 da, da, da. I've not been checking if these streams have been getting copyright struck, actually, on YouTube. Maybe that's part of it. Is that I'm just getting slammed on YouTube as well, but I can't tell because I'm stupid. Let me switch account. Let me just double check. I feel like this is important enough. Let me check. Ooh, a notification. I'm so easily distracted. YouTube Studio. The Showa era went on forever. Even then, every IP which uses Imperial era to divide itself managed to be weird about what counted as Showa era for said franchises. Oh, interesting. So if I go to lives. Okay, so the one yesterday had a copyright strike. The one from the 17th didn't. Copyright, non-copyright, copyright strike. What specifically was the issue in this one? Okay, there were 3 different songs that got me copyright struck on those ones. Okay, fine. I'll just accept my fate. There's only so much I can do, and I'm not making money off the second channel anyway. So, fuck it. Let's put on some different songs. Animal Crossing's always good. A One Piece lo-fi mix, that's not gonna be... Someone's not gonna make that. I did like Rat Taxi before. Cowboy Bebop, lo-fi hip-hop and jazz.
This cat.
I do like me some lo-fi hip-hop and jazz hop mix.
Show to Emperor.
I want to click through these as well. Just addicted. Push. And then... Where is it there? Give me that. Doom, 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 doom.
Taisho to Emperor Showa.
I think I want on screen their names as well. Just because, like... it is nice to be able to teach people stuff as well. Like, you know, I learned about this doing this video. Why not show people who are watching as well? So if you don't know what their names are, you can go, oh, well, that's how that's spelled. That's how that's read. Unless I'm wrong. In which case, it's always a chance. Cool.
Taisho to Emperor Showa, expansion into Korea, Mongolia, and China also occurred in this era and would lay the groundwork for the following eras.
Okay. What do I want, like... Are there any anime that depict that? I don't know why there would be. Are there any good anime or manga that it... I'm on someone on a Reddit page. And it's like, is there any good anime or manga out there which address the Japanese invasion of China in World War II? No. Yeah, that's fair. Night Raid 1931 is an A1 Pictures anime. 13 episodes. The premise is it's in Shanghai, China. The Imperial Japanese Army has been dispatched. Ooh, okay. That could be interesting. Episode 0. I hate when they have episode 0s. Just show me everything from episode 1. Because I'm like, oh, do I read chapter 0? Do I watch episode 1 or episode 0? I wonder why. Yeah, I wonder why. Cool looking anime. Anything with like Imperial soldiers, that's kind of what I'm looking for. Just like the visuals. Oh yeah, no, this is perfect. If only the resolution wasn't so low. Can I get Night Raid 1931 not dubbed? Maybe that would be a high resolution version. No, I need to search for it in Japanese. Senko no Night Raid. Okay, let's try that. No. Okay, well, a little bit low resolution it'll have to be. That's fine. It is kind of, like, exactly the kind of visuals. And sometimes I don't want to go find, like, real historical footage, because that has its own issues. Save video as... Then wait for it to pop up. Night Raid 1931 Episode 1 English dub. I can only think of a manga that features the correct era. Zipangan Showa, A History of Japan. Oh, interesting. It's like a historical one. That makes sense. Oh, you're so small. Why are you small? So it's 2d5. And then there was a plane. I mean, some of this shots here look quite nice. Look at that. Shanghai Showa era. I mean, these establishing shots. The quality good enough. Let me zoom in a little bit more.
nor.
I really want to find a high resolution rip of this anime now. Right, the plane. Drama, drama, drama. Drama, 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 drama. More drama. More action, more drama. Here. What clip have I got right here? Oh, Namakura Gatana. I don't need you anymore. I have done with you. Be gone.
Showa expansion into Korea, Mongolia, and China also occurred in this era and would lay the ground. Showa expansion into Korea, Mongolia, and China also occurred in this era and would lay the groundwork for the following era's nationalism. From this, we can see following era's
I think I can keep it being this long, so 6 seconds, but I might add pictures on top.
Into Korea.
Okay, let's have a look at some Japanese invasion footage. Japanese invasion of Korea. What's the first one I said?
Korea, Mongolia, and China.
Korea, Mongolia, and China. Cool. It's an AVIF file. I can't use that. Korea, invasion of Mongolia. Japan was real nice during this period. No, I want the Japanese invasion of Mongolia, not the Mongolian invasion of Japan. The Soviet Manchurian Mongolian border war. Japanese Soviet Manchurian. Okay, this is probably fine. And then China. Nothing too graphic. Sino-Japanese. I always forget that's what it's called. Instead of the Russo-Japanese. China. Which would be Russia. I just named them Japan, Mongolia, Japan, Korea, Japan, China.
Expansion into Korea.
So here, Korea,
Mongolia, Mongolia, and Mongolia.
I don't want to click through them, so I'm just gonna have them just like move.
And China, and China also.
Cool. I'm thinking about maybe nesting them. And then I will adjust them in here. I don't want them to fade like a poor war documentary. Just want to get them roughly the right size. Yeah. Cool, and then I'll, was thinking I'd just mess with it, just drop shadow, text grid, all that kind of thing.
Korea, Mongolia, and China.
Oh, actually, the clicks go well.
Korea, Mongolia, and China.
Is that really Riz?
Korea, Mongolia, and China also occurred in.
Yeah, the timing works very well. So.
Korea, Mongolia, and China also occurred in this era and would lay the groundwork for the following era's nationalism. Mongolia and China.
Maybe when this transitions to this shot here, I'll cut that there.
Korea and China also. To Korea, Mongolia, and China also occurred.
Okay, it's not quite right. No, that is right. It just feels wrong.
China also occurred. Mongolia and China also occurred in this.
That's because too much changes at once.
China also occurred in this.
Feels a bit better if it doesn't go at the same time. Save. Play. Hello. To be clear, there's two manga. Zipan is a
Korea,
modern
Mongolia, and
Japanese Navy destroyer that gets transported in World War II. Show it. Ah, interesting. Okay, I get you.
into Korea, Mongolia, and China also occurred in this.
Okay, so it's unhappy with me about that, but I think it works fine. Don't be mad at me, computer. Hello?
Also occurred in this era and would lay the groundwork for the following era's nationalism. From this, we can see a lot of interesting.
Okay, cool. Let me shove this in the corner here. Did I get the Night Raid? Is this the titular Night Raid? Wikipedia's removed manga demographics. What? Why? Wait, what? Genre, adventure, fantasy, comedy, martial arts. Oh my god, they have. Why? Why the fuck would they do that? Oh no, so I'm really pro demographic. I think it's really important. So that's a big deal. That's fascinating. I'll save that and watch that later. Wikipedia said demographics don't matter, basically. Is that it? Like, is there no other context? Because, like, they really fucking do. No, but that's the thing, though. This is why I'm always talking about it. Because, like, you know, romance is always a classic, but, like, a shonen romance and a shoujo romance are so different in execution. And, like, all the modern romances are... that are coming out as anime are all shonen romances. You get, you know, the male protagonist, you get very specific kind of execution. Even though a lot of modern shonen romance kind of do take a lot from shoujo, but that's the thing, is they're taking these elements from shoujo. So I think it's still important. Yeah, I do know Colleen's Manga Rex gets very, is very, like, insistent on the demographic differences. And I think I do tend to agree with that take. Because, like, I've been saying this a lot, and I made a TikTok on it recently, actually, but, if you take away demographics, if you take away targeted media, then you end up with, like, boardroom approved, this is good for everyone. And this is good for everyone always means this is good for straight guys. So your chances of getting unique and interesting stories targeting specific groups just go down. Like, it's already really bad where more than 50% of all manga made are made by women, for women, but they just don't get turned into anime. The amount of anime targeted at boys is disproportionately higher than the amount of anime targeted at girls, even though in terms of, like, raw manga being produced, it should be about even in terms of, like, you know, yeah, what's actually being produced. So it's really interesting. That's crazy to me. Is that its own video? Should we make its own video? Okay. I need to work on this video, the one that is in front of me, not other videos.
Showa, expansion into Korea, Mongolia, and China also occurred in this era and would lay the groundwork for the following era's nationalism. From this, we can see a lot of interesting things. First of all, anime.
Which first of all do I prefer?
First of all, anime.
This one. To be clear, I do not agree with said argument. Which argument? Which way round we at? I've been rambling, so I'm not entirely sure. Oh, you mean the argument of, like, Wikipedia? I think that's what you mean. Like, no. But that's why I think it's such an interesting discussion, because, like, I love it when people go, you're wrong because of this, and I'm like, okay, fantastic. Let's argue about it. Let's go. Like, if a winning scenario for me is I'm proven wrong. I might be annoyed about it, but if I'm proven wrong, then I've learned something new, and I will cease to be wrong. Yeah, sorry, can we go? No, it's fine, don't worry about it. It's chill. That's so interesting. Because I saw an article recently that was talking about how anime has, I'm saying this in quotation marks, progressed past the need for demographics. And it annoys me to no end because all the popular anime are for boys. So they most likely going to be shonen. And all the popular anime of every season is going to be shonen. So what people mean, even accidentally, when they say that we've progressed past demographics, is that we don't need to make any work for women, basically. Or anyone who identifies differently to just a guy. Because everyone will watch that anyway. I do think Chainsaw Man is a seinen and Dan Dan is a shoujo. They just get published in a shonen magazine. I also think the Wikipedia should sort of divide by demographics. Okay, cool. Makes sense. So Dan Dan's fascinating because he specifically was forced to read a lot of shoujo to make his romance feel more realistic. But yeah, no, I just think that's a really fun fact. It's like, of course, that's why the romance feels good. Because he's basing it off the way that romance is written for women, because the way that romance tends to be written for guys is a bit flat. Like, looking at kind of popular male-centered romance, you get a different perspective. I said Dan is still shonen. This is the author took inspiration from shoujo for the romance components. I think I would agree with that. I've still only seen the first season. It still feels fairly shonen-y, but then it depends on, like, the thinking. The reason why we made a whole video on Apothecary Diaries was because it was very clearly, in every way but name, targeted towards women. But then they put it in a seinen category. And it's like, well, it should have been in a josei one, because that would have been the correct target audience. But then you come across this issue of, like, would it have been made into an anime if it wasn't in the seinen magazine? But then we go back and we're like, okay, why is josei and shoujo not being made into anime? Like, I don't feel like we should categorize incorrectly in the hope that they get made into anime. But then I made a video literally yesterday talking about how the reason why we get so many cool neurodivergent characters in anime is because they don't say the words. So they kind of like hide, like no one says in Dungeon Meshi that Leos is autistic, but like you can feel it. The way that Mao Mao behaves feels very neurodivergent because those mangaka potentially are neurodivergent. But if they said that, if it was outright, would it have worked in the mainstream? I hate this like whole, if you want to be successful, you have to pander to the largest audience, because I kind of feel like everyone should be able to make media for themselves. I am rambling so much. I need to edit this goddamn video.
and would lay the groundwork for the following era's nationalism. From this we can see a lot of interesting things.
Okay. This could be a good clip for that. There we go. Let's put this in here. Yippee! From this we can see a lot of interesting things. Like this.
Nationalism. From this we can see a lot of
I want him to like rotate it in the clip.
From this we can see a lot of interesting things.
Maybe I want it to happen a bit sooner so it's a bit more interesting as a clip.
First, from this we can see a lot of interesting things. First of all, anime reviewers have always been like that.
Cool. Is Dandadan a shoujo romance with shonen action or a shonen action with shoujo romance? Greatest thread in the history of forums, logged after 12,000 pages of heated debate. If you asked, that's why, and I hate that it becomes gendered because I always end up falling on the, I prefer female-focused media, and I always have, but like, if you ask the male Dandadan audience, you're gonna be like, no, it's an action show, and the romance bits are bad. And if you ask a female audience, I'm not entirely sure, maybe they'd say the opposite, but I guess if you're well-adjusted, you can have a nuanced discussion, but then that's why it's a discussion, it's fascinating. Realistically, it depends on the chapter. I think, at its core, it's a shoujo romance first that keeps getting interrupted by supernatural shonen battles. I do think the thing that pulled me in Dandadan the most was in that first episode when she realizes that his name's Ken Takakura and the spaceship explodes behind him. I'm like, oh fuck, this is gonna be a good romance. And then they proceed to be cringe as fuck, but in like the perfect anime way that makes it so hard to watch. You're like, oh god, guys, please just talk to each other. It's great. I still haven't seen season 2 though. I've seen a lot of people hyping up, but then again, I've only seen clips of like when it's being funny. I haven't seen much action. I haven't seen any discussion of the romance or character dynamics, which is classic internet.
First of all, anime reviewers have always been.
What do I want for that section there? Anime reviewers have always been like that. There's gotta be a good... Anime reviewers have always been like that. What if I use a Berserk clip here?
First of all, anime reviewers have always been like that. Second,
and then here... first, and then I'll have it do this, and then I'll have it do that. If it goes crazy enough,
first of all, anime reviewers have.
Does it just stop being visible? If I go like, I want it to be like 3,000.
First of all,
no, I guess it'll count. Yeah, that's fine. Wait, what if I hold on? What if I have it like slide in?
First of all,
and then immediately slide out. Would that look fun? If I just go...
First of all, anime review...
No, I want it to push out. So it just literally slides in and slides out.
First of all, anime reviewers have all...
Mm.
First of all, anime reviewers...
I like it. It's fun. The issue is second season mostly adapts a portion of the manga where the focus isn't so much on the romance because the story gets distracted by Gigi and the evil eye for like 3 moments. Ah, there's some great moments in there, really sweet. At the end of the bulk of the house, like, wait, they're still at the house? Because at the end of season 1, they get to that house. Are they still there? Fantastic. Interesting though. It's on the list. I don't think I'm watching anything at the moment, really. No, I'm not really watching anything specific. Been reading manga.
Anime reviewers have all...
Yeah, I haven't seen season 2. I really should. I like the manga. Love Science Saru. Okay. See, now, that's how I feel about, Komi-san, Can't Communicate, is, at the beginning, it's a comedy anime with, like, a little bit of romance. Like, a tiny little bits of romance. But by midway through, it becomes a romance anime with comedy. The romance is so compelling. There's a love triangle, and you completely get why both the main girls are into him. And it progresses, and then the two girls are best friends, so the drama kind of builds from there. And they, like, support each other in that romance, even though they're, like, competing against each other for his affections. It's really good, really mature, and that's exactly where half of the fans dropped out, because half of the fans weren't there for the romance. And it's like, well, if it's a male-focused manga, then they kind of generally don't want good, compelling romance. So pitching that to them feels interesting. But I genuinely have a good answer to that. That's why I'm always thinking about it and talking about it, because it's just like, what could the solution be? They get out there in 6 sets. To be fair, it's a 12-episode season, right? 12, 13? 6 episodes is still a lot.
Always. Secondly, we should... Secondly... Secondly, we should be viewing these anime as what they are.
Okay, now I want Namakura Gitana back. Do I have Gigi as well? I thought I had Hanasakura. Hanasaka Gigi. Yeah, I do. Okay, cool. Nice and tiny. Yeah. I do think even compared to Western animation at the time, this is still pretty... Like much more complex. Like, this not so much, but like Hanasaka Gigi here, they're trying much more complicated animation as like a first step. So I think it's really interesting how Japanese anime stands out in that regard, even back then. I think it would look cool if I had this and then this overlapping.
We should be viewing...
Like... maybe it doesn't look cool. Maybe I'm entirely incorrect. I think I might be entirely incorrect. Let me do like a diagonal placement. So this goes here, and this goes here.
Viewing these anime as what they are. First attempts at a very...
Maybe that's a little bit too long there. Heartbreaking. I'm usually the one who loves the later stuff and then is begging and crying friends to get through the early stuff with me. I don't do well with comedy, but like it's so good. I'm always saying this, but hold on, let me find the specific image I'm talking about, because I can't express the way that I was like, oh my god. Am I gonna have to find... I've saved it somewhere, I must have, because I did something with it recently. Komi. I thought the anime was really cute. I just don't think they're ever going to get to that point. Yeah, I do have an image of it. So, like, this is how she sees him in the latter half. Like, she sees him as so genuinely attractive. And then there's, like... Oh, and this is the other girl, who's into him. And she's into him for the exact same reason that Komi's into him, where he sees her, like, beyond the kind of awkward outside kind of persona she puts on. Do we have any other... What other images do I have? Yeah, it's just really cute. Like, the romance just works, and they spend so much time outside of school. Like, in this bit, he's staying with her grandparents over the summer to study for exams, so it's just them and, like, her family. instead of the school, which I think, yeah, can get a bit more intense. Like, it's the silly characters are fun, but they do get a bit overwhelming. So I'm really glad that the mangaka kind of knew to push it. But that's when people were bitching about Komi looking weird, and she does look a bit weird. She's definitely more squishy, but I think it works for the more cutesy tone. I like it. I finished it. I don't think I cried at the end, but I was very emotional. Not shoujo, but to an earlier point, I remember people saying that they were finding an anime adaptation of the Summer Hickory Died boring because it was slow paced. And like, what do you mean? It's a slow burn romance mix. Yeah, exactly. That's the point. I was saying this before it came out, but people were gonna have complaints about the Summer Hickory Died because they were expecting a horror, and it is not. It is a romance. You are completely correct. I haven't seen it yet. Also on the list, but I did read a bit of the manga years ago.
You should be viewing these anime as what they are. First attempts at a very difficult and new art form. The anime...
Like, this is interesting as well, to go back to, like, perception. So, this is the review on Mal for one of the first anime we have access to. So it's 1917, so it's not the first anime by any means, but it's the first anime that we have, like, an actual full thing for.
Level as Isekai.
And it's got the same review score as Isekai Cheat Magician. Anime fans, man. Does this look alright?
We should be... secondly, we should be viewing these anime as what they are. First attempts at a very difficult and new art form. The animation is simple and
do I have... What kind of clip do I want to use here? This is probably good. Let me just grab part here. I want it to cut after the animation is simple and so are the characters. Yeah, this is good. The animation is simple.
art form. The animation is simple and...
Let me start him here, actually.
Animation is simple and...
I must have introduced this anime earlier. Have I done Berserk? Oh, I don't know. Problem with taking so long editing is I can't remember what anime I've already used to add little credits for. Maybe I should do this again. Oh yeah, this is the one where he like hides his grandma from the government. Is basically the plot of this one. Manga's so good. Although animation feels dated. No big flashing action sequences, 0 out of 10. No! Yeah, here we go. So the plot of this one is that it's a world where the elderly get outcast because they're not useful to society. So he hides his grandma, and then he gets called to like do riddles for the government, basically. And he doesn't know how to solve them or solve these conundrums, but his grandma does. And he hides her in his house, and then he keeps getting rewards by using her advice, and by the end they allow old people to live. That's nice of the government.
So are the stories, but that's no less impressive.
So actually, I would say this is a relatively complicated story. Again, for 1925, but it might be based on a fable, which a lot of these early ones were. I feel like I need a... I'm hyped up. I need a slightly more intense vibe. I don't want to get, like, shut down for copyright. Relaxing Sims music, chill lo-fi mix, Animal Crossing. Rat Taxi. I mean, I know it's someone's actual song, but Rat Taxi.
simple, and so are the stories, but that's...
I might grab Urashima Taro now, because I know I'm going to need it in a second. Shima Taro. Anime. Da-da. YouTube's running so slow. I'm really close to, and now I think Rantaxi is too intense. Oh no. What vibes do I want? Okay, Animal Crossing to the rescue. I'm super tempted to get YouTube Premium, thank you. That's where my thought was. Because it gives more money to creators just by fucking magic. And then also is hopefully better because my YouTube's been running super slow. And I assume YouTube is throttling my computer? I'm not sure. I'm not a tech person. I just like art and talking about art and being a nerd. My partner, however, she knows tech. She built my PC. Every time there's an issue with it, I'm like, hey, can you come have a look at it? Like, I had to find out what my power supply was recently. And I was like, how do you find that out? And she was like, look at your PC. And I was like, what am I supposed to be looking at? What I'm saying is I'm a tech passenger princess. Ooh, this is fascinating. So in this clip of Urashima Taro that I have just downloaded, it looks like this. They're small. Is it 300? 300? Yeah. In the title on YouTube, it says that it was by Satoru Kitayama, which you'd think would make sense. Actually, we talk about it in this video, so that's why I'm bringing this in now. But potentially it wasn't actually by him. It's just someone else did the fable before him, which I think is really interesting. And I love that we don't have any information for a lot of this stuff, so we kind of have to scrounge together what we can, especially in English, where we have like one source and every other source is in Japanese, and I can't even begin to start searching for it.
But that's no less impressive. Unfortunately...
Okay, you go there.
No less impressive. Unfortunately, much like early animation in the West, preservation wasn't...
I'd find some early animation in the West. Snack. Slithery, slithery. Oh, whoops. You reckon I can get all of this edited today? Get the visuals in? I have it in my head that I can do 4 more hours. I don't know if I can do 4 more hours, but we'll see. I normally do 2 hours and then like tap out because I'm tired, but I don't have work today, so we'll see what happens. Would you want to, like, text on screen? Should I add a little chat box? Should be working. Hide, unhide. Add. Chat box. Add. Chat box. Close. Maybe it was working and I couldn't see. Let me mess with it. Clean. Oh, there you go. Cool. That's fun. Can I make the text smaller? Font size smaller. Oh, why do it like that? Yeah? Maybe that's fine. I'll fix it if it looks terrible.
Unfortunately, much like early animation in the West.
Okay, now I need early Western animations, like 1920s. What's a good 1920s Western animation? So we're talking, what, Mickey Mouse? No, I want before the Golden Age. Origins of American animation. How about Mary and Gretel? Steamboat Willie? When was Steamboat Willie? Let's find out. Steamboat Willie was 1928, so actually a little bit after when I'm thinking. Because this is 1918. Orochim, do I have it on here? This is 1925. Steamboat Willie actually works fine. And I think, to be fair, it does illustrate very well what we're talking about. So I think I might use Steamboat Willie. Good suggestion. What's an equivalent 28? Hanasaka Jisan, Dobutsu Olympic Takai. Momotaro? Yeah, cool, nice. I do think American animation of the same period was more fluid, but that's because they use simpler characters. So it's 20, I was 28. I watched the new Defunctland video recently, which was insane. 4 hours of Disney facts. It was good though. Well, is that correct? Because the line is,
Animation in the West, preservation wasn't really at the top of anyone's agenda, and less so mid the war.
Was there, like, Lost? Lost. Like, in the 1910s? You know, I don't 100% know if that line is true. I hope it is.
Much like early animation in the West, preservation wasn't really at the top of anyone's agenda, and less so mid.
Okay, I would like...
In the West, preservation wasn't really at the top of...
Here. And then, like... Is there like a dissolve effect? I want a video effect... Distort? guess it's more of a transition I'm looking for. And then obsolete. I do like the obsolete. This is my favorite one. Ooh, no, not that one. Cube spin. Is it cube spin? Yeah. Dissolve. Film dissolve. That's just. It's not bad.
At the top of any.
Immersive video. Guess that's fine. I guess it's fine. Maybe I should make my own transitions at some point.
In the West, preservation.
My impression is a lot of American animation that time is this way. Blah, blah, blah. My impression of a lot of animation of the time is that there's always a lot of focus on there being some movement. Yeah, it's really interesting. So, like, we're looking at Steamboat Willie here, and there's a lot going on. And then, like, the actual animation here is... Like, the characters are far more detailed, but the animation is not as good. Oh, this is 10 years before... Is it 10 years before? No, this is only a couple of years before Steamboat Willie, so... I think you're right. For the Western animation, fluidity is much more impressive. But Japanese animation is impressive in different ways. For example, what it becomes.
Impressive. Unfortunately,
I think it'd be funny if I say anime Steamboat Willie, so I'm going to do that. No. I.
Early animation in the West, preservation wasn't really at the top of anyone's agenda, unless so mid the war.
Okay, World War One. I could do. Have I used the Saga of Tanya the Evil in this video? I have. Sick. Because this is what World War One was like, right? And guns and shit. Planes and magic. Okay, I want to fade in.
Gender and less so mid the and less so mid the
Maybe I have it here.
and less so mid the war to end all wars. So most of the anime from the 2010s are just a sliver of what. So most of the anime from the 2010s.
I said 2010s. Anime, World War 1 or 2. Look, it depends on the volume.
Are just a sliver of what researchers could find. There could have been.
Okay, so I need to redo that line. Where is it? So most of the anime from the 1910s are just a sliver of what researchers could find. Cool, excuse me while I be cringe and try and voice act. Let me turn the heater off. I don't want that to get picked. Don't want that to get picked up.
A sliver of what researchers could find.
So most of the anime in the 2010s are just bleh. So most of the anime from the 2010s are... No, I said 2010s again. So most of the anime from the 1910s are just a sliver of what researchers could find. How was that? So most of the anime from the 1910s are just a sliver of what researchers could find. It's okay.
A sliver of what researchers could find.
I like that better.
From the 2010s are just...
Maybe I take the back half of this. Take.
1910s are just a
Take the front half of this one.
So most of the anime...
Turn that down a little bit.
So most of the anime from the 1910s are just a sliver of
Maybe I take from of.
just a sliver
Are you here? Can I do that?
sliver of what research
Hmm.
just a just a s- a s- just a s- a just
Here?
just a
Ah! I can get this to work.
sliver of what researchers could find. Sliver of what researchers could
Maybe I just commit to it.
find.
I hate the way I say find.
Sliver of what researchers could find. Researchers could researchers of what researchers
Chairs? Can I get it from there? I could just redo the take.
sliver of what researchers could
Here? Like this?
of what researchers could find. Researchers could find.
I hate it. I'm redoing the line. I'm redoing the line.
A sliver of what researchers could find.
So most of the anime from the 1910s are just a sliver of what anime researchers could find. Why did I say anime researchers? So most of the anime from the 1910s are just a sliver of what researchers could find. So most of the anime from the 1910s are just a sliver of what researchers could find.
So most of the anime from the 2010s
Let me try that one out.
to end all wars. So most of the anime from the
The energy isn't there though, which is annoying. Try again. Try again with some more energy.
to end all wars.
So most of the anime from the 1910s are just a sliver of what researchers could find. So most of the anime from the So most of the anime from the 1910s are just a most of the anime from the 1910s are just a sliver of what researchers could find. So most of the anime from the 1910s are... What is that background sound? I might just end myself. So most of the anime from the 1910s are just a sliver of what researchers could find. One of these has to be good. So most of the anime from the 1910s are just a sliver of what researchers could find. I might just have to take it. I'm just going to take it. I'm not even going to listen to it again. I'm just going to take it. I think it's fine. It's fine. Good enough. Sometimes I get like, kind of like, this isn't good enough, they should be better. And then sometimes I'm like, well, if I'm that precious about it, I'll never make the video. I've already been working on this one on and off for like 2 months. Yeah. So maybe whatever comes out is fine. Maybe that's how I'll think about it. Do 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 do. Do 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 do.
Really at the top of anyone's agenda, and less so mid the war to end all wars. So most of the anime from the 1910s are just a most of the anime from the 1910s.
Oh my god!
Anime from the 1910s.
That click in my.
From the 1910s are just. From the 1910s are just. 1910s.
Oh my god! Okay, hold on. Let's see if I can merge it with the initial clip.
So most of the anime from the 2010s are just a so most of the anime from the 1910s.
Oh, that's the bit I need.
Are just anime from the 2010. So most of the anime from the 19...
You know what? It's fine. I'll fix it later.
So most of the anime...
Right, the screenshots were breaking last time. So I might just... Let me find a different anime from the 1910s, actually, because I'm gonna talk a lot about Orochimaru Taro in just a sec. And a second, what about Kechi Yama? 1917. Okay, that's fundamentally not the same anime. I'm being shown Nemakura Gitana when I search Kechi Yama. Different anime. Isunboshi I can't find, and Orochimaru Taro. So guess I'll have to show more Orochimaru Taro. Or Hanasaka Gigi, because I don't talk about it. Yeah, let's do more of this one. Like Flower Old Man or Old Man Flower or something like that. There is some more to this. It's relatively long. Why are you freaking out, buddy? Oh, it's doing the thing again. I haven't done anything. Hold on. I legit haven't done anything. Okay. Don't scare me like that. Like, it's this. Why was importing that in again? I'm freaking out. Let me find it back here. When's this one from? 27, yeah. Five, 4. Why are you like that? MP4? Nothing wrong with a cheeky MP4. You didn't break anything? No? Okay. Maybe I need a PC upgrade.
Or was that reviewer just a dick?
It's very low res. Maybe it's actually too low res for the video. But if it is, I'll kind of come back and decide against it.
Most of the anime from the 1910s are just a sliver. 1910s are just a sliver of what researchers could find. There could have been.
And now I think I'm going to use. You have a thought? Let me capture it before it runs away. Dramatic Dandy!
There could have been hundreds of anime, but in our dataset we just have 6.
Cool, yeah. And then label you Space Dandy.
Hundreds of anime, but in our dataset we just have
And then I'm gonna background blur this.
Just have.
And then I'm gonna add in you. Yep. Do. 6. Drop shadow it. Small bop in. Make it bigger in general, and then steal myself a pop sound effect from you. Thank you. Boom. Boom, boom, boom.
Just have 6. Most of which are short. 6. Most of which are short historical folklore inspired work.
On the script, on the thingy, I do want this screenshot. Let's see if it breaks it this time. Broke it yesterday. One, two, three, four, five, six. Yeah. Always reminds me of the that Family Guy when he's counting the legs. Every time I count quick, that's all I can think. Hello. Do. I can select. It's not broken currently. Save. Save. Oh no! I'm already tired. I can't be tired. I haven't even streamed for 2 hours yet. Rebecca want another cookie.
Six. Most of which are short historical folklore inspired works. For example, the 19...
Oh, no, actually, hold on.
Historical folklore inspired works. For which are short historical folklore inspired works. For example, the 1917 anime Urashima Taro is a
I kind of want to make you big. That's not too low res, right?
6. Most of which are short historical folklore inspired works. For example, the 1917 anime Urashima.
Okay, cool. You shape, no stroke, yes. Purple. Give it a smidge of thickness. Maybe a drop shadow. I'm addicted.
1917 anime Urashima Taro is a
for every decade after this, but unfortunately the data becomes exponential.
I want something from over here. This sound effect. Gonna paste this over here, and then I'm gonna close Premiere Pro, and I'm gonna reopen it because I'm scared that it's freaking out a little bit. Close you. Let me reopen you. You ever get that where Premiere Pro or whatever software you use kind of just starts slowly doing worse and worse, and you're like, oh, none of that, please. My microphone is unmuted or has no signal. That was 4 minutes ago. Hopefully that's not the case anymore. Open, immediately save. Let it do for a minute. Cool.
In 17 anime Urashima
Cool, nice. Feels good. Shape path. Let me just... It feels better if it's a bit tidier. Yeah.
Anime Urashima Taro is a folklore original.
Cool, now where is Urashima Taro? Here it is. Okay, it says 1918 there. On our spreadsheet it says 1917. There's a couple of years that stuff is off. Because it's gonna be.
Taro is a folklore originating.
Let me just delete that. Deniability.
Folklore originating in the 8th. Folklore originating in the 8th. Anime Urashima Taro is a folklore originating in the 8th century about a man who goes fishing and then is swept away by folklore originating in the 8th century. 1917 anime Urashima Taro is a folklore originating in the 8th century about a man who goes fishing and then is folklore-inspired works. For example, the 1917 anime Urashima Taro is a folklore originating in the 8th century about a man who goes fishing.
Cool. I think this is usable as is. I was worried about the way some of the dialogue came across, but I think it's fine.
Century about a man who goes fishing. Century about a man who goes fishing and then goes fishing and is swept away by the waves. He goes on. He goes on adventures in Ryugyujo, the
I might put Ryugyujo on screen.
Ryugyujo, the underwater dragon palace. When he
I don't want it to cut there at the end. Let me just... There you go.
When he returns over 100...
It did actually cut a bit out of the story. Huh? Like, he's supposed to have a box. There's supposed to be more adventures, but it's very short.
When he returns, over 100 years has passed. My favorite bit of this adaptation
is this tell bit.
These debates are...
He just... New.
My favorite bit of this adaptation is when he meets the turtle and just... Yoop. Just... Yoop, yoop. Just... Yoop. Just... Yoop.
I might keep that sound effect, actually. I think it's fun. Cerulean there. And then...
It's also bathed in this red...
But I want, go... And then leave it for a sec. Do I want to leave it for a sec? I don't think it needs too much time to linger, the joke specifically, so maybe I'll not do that. I do need a sound effect, like a zip. Or a zap. Or a nyom. check my ridiculously large sound effects folder. Wet slap. Don't know if that's the right vibe. No, those are not correct. Hmm. I can't decide on the sound effect I want. Thunder? Nope. Twinkle?
Favorite bit.
Twinkle could work. Let me try it.
And just yoop.
You know what? Why not?
Just yoop. Title and just yoop.
It's like so few frames. He's there, and then he... When does it happen? Yeah, he gets up for... Up 1, 2, 3, 4... 3 frames. And then he's standing on the turtle. Same actual drawing. And then it's 1, 2, 3... 2 frames. So it's 3 frames there. He's there, 2 frames. And then he turns around. And then he's ready to go. It's so fun to me.
And just yoop.
It does start it slightly before I say it.
Yoop. And just yoop. It's also bathed in this red.
Ultra Instinct opening. It's quicker if I just drag it into Premiere Pro.
Bathed in this red.
Yeah, that's actually funnier.
Bathed in this red hue. A common money.
Maybe that one? Like the second bit? Maybe the first bit. So many decisions.
Just
Do that there, and then have it fade out like that.
just yoop. It's also
yeah, that's
he
better.
meets the title and just yoop. It's also bathed in this red hue. Yoop. It's also bathed in this red hue. A common money-saving decision of the era was to use cheap colored cellophane. A common money-saving decision of the era was to use cheap colored cellophane instead of fancy clear cellulose.
I'm gonna put stuff over the screen here, I
A
think.
common money-saving decision of the era was to use cheap colored cellophane. Era was to use
So, Cheap colored cellophane, okay. Or like an image. Any examples of it? Is this what I mean? We'll save it. Cellulose, as in like cells. Cool, 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 cool. I'm gonna do that thing again where I blur it out as I put stuff over the top, because I think it looks nice, and it kind of breaks up how much I have to use the background.
Was to use cheap colored cellophane instead of fancy clear.
Slow motion. Do-do-do, do-do, 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 do-do.
Was to use cheap colored cellophane instead of fancy clear cellulose. This anime was believed to be a work by Satoru
And Kitayama.
This anime was believed to be a work by Satoru.
Maybe I'll do that there and then use... Because I haven't actually used the princess bit yet, have I?
Was believed to be a work by Satoru. This anime was believed to be a work by Satoru Kitayama while working for Nippon Katsudo Sashin Corporation, but
Can't ask him.
a work by Satoru Kitayama while working for
I need the visual for Nippon Katsudo Sashin Corp. Nikatsu.
Kitayama while working for Nippon
Do, 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 do. I want a nap. This happens every time I get to 2 hours in.
to be a work by Satoru Kitayama while working for Nippon Katsudo Sashin Corporation, but newly discovered magazine's
That link working. The Hiroshima Taro debate. Aha, the website is working now. Nice. maybe I'll finish this section, have a nap, and come back and stream some more after. Seems like a good idea. God, I really can only do 2 hours of streaming at a time. After that, it's just too sleepy.
But newly discovered but new But newly discovered magazines bring into question if it is that animation. No doubt. If it is that animation. No doubt it's an adaptation of Urashima Taro, but is it Satoru while working for Nippon Katsudo Sashin Corporation? But newly discovered magazines bring into question if it is that animation. No doubt it's an adaptation of Urashima Taro, but is it Satoru Kitayama's work? Who knows? Most bring into question if it is that animation. No doubt it's an adaptation of Urashima Taro.
Cool. Just gonna slight motion this. Yeah.
Newly discovered magazines bring into question if it is that animation. No doubt it's an adaptation of...
Okay, let me get the Urashima Taro. Like, art of it. Dum da dum 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 bum 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 ba and da 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 da. I'm getting to the sleepy portion of the Animal Crossing music.
No doubt it's an adaptation of Urashima.
Cut there. Give me some dramatic dandy. She's just got such good faces.
No doubt it's an adaptation of Urashima Taro, but is it Satoru Kitty? Adaptation of Urashima Taro, but is it Satoru Kitayama's work? Who knows? Who knows? Most of these...
Okay, now I need something that's all who knows. Something from Black Butler, I feel would do. Don't know if I've used Black Butler yet. We're getting there, though. We're making some progress.
Work. Who knows? Most of these...
Cool, okay. I am relatively happy with that little bit of progress we made. So I'm at 13 minutes. If I do another 3 hours of editing today, which I actually could do, I can get to 16. And then I'll need Mira to do the next section. but I can work on that. And I can do that this evening. So that's chill. I think I might actually stream after this. So I'm going to have a small little nap. And then if you guys are still around, like 4 or 5, probably going to stream again if I'm being honest. Because it really helps me focus. But thank you for hanging out, and thank you for discussing stuff in the chat and with me, because it's super fun. I love talking about anime. Would you believe I actually really